As we're talking about the digital transformation, allow me to start with a very simple story. When my mother left Greece in the 1950s to go study the US, she would contact her parents back in Piraeus by sending letters. And when I mean letters, I mean writing letters, putting them in the letterbox, and after a couple of weeks, they would arrive to Greece, and her parents would read them. One generation later, when my brother actually went to the US to study there, he would speak with my mother through Skype. So video conferences were available, and she was able to see her son in the US. I just want to mention that in order to comprehend how important technological advancements are in our everyday life. So even things that we might take for granted now did not exist in the past. And technological advancements do proceed very quickly. We are talking though about digital transformation in the COVID-19 era. And I don't want to talk about my country. And in the last 11 months, so in the last 1 year, we have more than tripled the electronic services available for citizens and companies. So e-governance was a major priority of the government, of the IN2030 government, even before the COVID-19 pandemic crisis. But as Felix did mention in the beginning, it has accelerated the process very much. And I want to give two good examples, and I think they are best practices in this case. First of all, it's the vaccine process, how it is proceeding in Greece, and it is proceeding very quickly. All of the process, so the information sent to the citizens about the place, the time, regarding everybody's vaccine is sent electronically. There is absolutely no paperwork in the process, so it's a fully digital process which involves all of the Greek population, public hospitals, and it has to be done in a very speedily way. The second issue which acted as an accelerator has to do with the educational system. So remote education was a very big challenge for Greek schools, and please take into account that Greece has many islands, many mountainous areas, which are indeed very remote, but we were capable of having all schools connected in the internet, so students would not miss their services. So that has to do with governance. These are two good examples about governance and the COVID-19 crisis and digital transformation. Now, regarding the workplace, remote working is now much more into our everyday life for everybody. Zoom, Skype, or Teams calls are our everyday life now, and webinars. And if you do want my belief is that this will continue even after the COVID-19 crisis. So we will see much more remote working. We will see more Zoom conferences and Zoom calls than we had before the COVID-19 pandemic crisis. Regarding the society and how the digital transformation has affected, I will just mention an everyday example, and now it's something that everybody does in Greece. In order to have any sort of outdoor activity, you do have to send a message to an SMS, and that has to do in order to monitor more effectively and even coordinate public services regarding the pandemic crisis. As far as the economy is, companies that did have e-shop or e-markets, of course, were in a much more advantageous position regarding to companies that exclusively sold their products or services in the traditional way. So we do have a very important shift in the economy as well. Damien did mention problems that might occur for democracy. I will take the discussion towards another point of view, how important access to fast and cheap internet is for democratic functioning for everybody. And also at the same time, reskilling is extremely important. So you might find people that are unable to use the digital services that are now available, but they must have access to them. So it's extremely important to reskill them even for democratic purposes. Finally, even media are influenced. So fake news through the rise of the social media, or even external attack and influence that you might have during an election campaign. We have seen such cases in the past, and I'm quite sure that we will see this much more extensively in the future. You might start questioning, and I do agree with Damon's point, how much power technological colossus might have. So does Twitter or Facebook have the right to erase or shut down the account of a major politician, even the president of the United States? This is a question which I do think we must discuss. Final point, one of the issues that I do raise in the Council of Ministers of the EU regarding research and innovation has to do with the fact that despite the fact that Europe does spend public money on research and innovation, approximately to a similar percentage with the US and with China, we do not have the private companies, the enterprises, the technological giants that the US and China have. And this is a very big problem for Europe in the future, because technology does advance that quickly. It does affect our everyday life in practically everything. If Europe cannot be competitive on that issue, we will lag behind. So one very important priority is to see how Europe can be competitive, even by having such companies. But of course, I understand that we are speaking with many people from the UK, and this might sound obscure when we're in the process of the Brexit, and the European Union has weakened with the exit of the UK. Allow me to personally say that I think that the UK has weakened as well. It's a lose-lose case in my opinion. But I think I should stop here because I've passed my 7 minutes.